in terms of a strategy change. They've had mixed success at ramp. They've probably had less than average success at the A site. They've had a couple successful rounds outside. But outside, just so dangerous with CX still on that AWP. And then when he rotates back to ramp so quickly to help out, it seems like he's everywhere sometimes. Exceed already leading JT and himself down secret halls. This could be just what GGPR needs. Beaky hanging out outside with a couple teammates as well. They'll find RZU trying to flank down secret stairs after their teammates. Beaky not going to allow that to happen. One-man advantage here still for GGPR, although Inshaniak is tagged down to 10 HP from that initial skirmish. Still has the AWP in him, but so does CX. Holding behind Silo on the B side, but Exceed gonna take him out with an AK headshot. Exceed tagged pretty low as well right before that. Down to 16, Beaky doing his part at Yelldorf, takes out George. JT backing him up as well, gets hate on that rotation. That's gonna leave only B-Wills here for Triumph. He'll likely be saving this M4, but he also might have information about how lit Exceed and Beaky are. He might go for at least some sort of peek here at HUD. Looks like he will be making his way towards lobby via vending machines here. He's actually holding off just before that in ramp halls. JT not advancing towards ramp at all, but it looks like him and B-Wills about to make contact here soon, and B-Wills will convert on the headshot there. Beaky and Low trying to chase him down, and ramp. B-Will's gonna be able to take out Beaky there due to the low HP, but Low Raider right there for the trade, and that will be a second round going the way of GGPR. Maybe if they can get at least 4 or 5 rounds before the half ends here in the first half, they could, you know, potentially get back within striking distance at the beginning of the second half. Seed peeking squeaky early is going to pay off so far. Hate down right outside of HUD. GGPR looking to capitalize on this. Exceed finding a second. That's RZU down outside of HUD as well. CX falling by Vents to Inshaniak's AK, and a nicely placed HE from Beaky. That's going to leave only George remaining on the full save there. Only with a USP, no armor. And GGPR on the HUD. George getting awkwardly close with the unsilenced USP. Adding to the confusion there with the silencer off. Does get one, gets a second after picking up an AK. That's Inshaniak down. Potentially looking for another exit here, but Exceed ultimately able to finish off George there, hiding by red container at the end of the round, and that'll be a third round going the way of GGPR. Not completely out of this one yet. We got to see what happens these next few rounds here. Inshaniak on the early peek towards ramp, gets 2. CX and George down. That's going to open up ramp to B potentially here for GGPR. Beaky doing his part at secret halls, watching the flank angle. That's RZU down as he rotated down from secret stairs. Only Hate and B-Wills remaining now, and GGPR looking much more to their expected form, I should say, these past few rounds. After an extremely rough start, they should be able to get a 4th round for themselves here. Bomb has been planted at B. B-Wills, though, Post-plant headshot onto Beaky at Secret Stairs, but looks like Triumph will indeed be saving their rifles as they rotate back towards outside. Exceed going hunting towards T-spawn here. He spots Hate. Hate might have heard his footsteps there at the last second. Not sure, though. Maybe not. Exceed and Lowrider peeking into T-spawn, but it's going to be Hate on the back of the pickup truck, taking out Exceed at the last second. Unfortunate for Exceed there, but GGPR ultimately will officially get a 4th round there after the C4 detonation. Slicing that lead to 5 rounds, looking a little bit more doable now in terms of this potential comeback. JT holding that squeaky angle, lands the headshot onto B-Wills, did take a bit of damage. Tagged for 40, but gets a second headshot onto Hate as he moves towards first vent as well, and it's going to be a 3rd kill from JT. Triumph players just keep running towards that squeaky entrance, and JT making them pay. Exceed able to get RZU towards those B double doors, but George getting the trade there a couple seconds later from control, and then he rotates towards the bottom of ramp and finds another P250 headshot onto Beaky. JT ultimately able to get the trade there just a moment later, and that'll be a 5th round going to GGPR. And after trailing by as much as 8 rounds, now they're only down by 4. And it looks like GGPR will indeed call for a timeout here. If they can get this final round of the half, they could slice this lead to just 3 rounds. Surely discussing how they can open up some angles again here, knowing this is going to be a full buy run from Triumph as well. GGPR likely knows that CX is going to be on the AWP again this round. Although CX was just barely able to afford that AWP, so it is possible GGPR is just assuming he's on an M4 right now. Triumph coming off a bit of a rough round, but still able to get the full buy here. Beaky drawing first blood onto B-Wills. Exceed backing him up there towards ramp, getting another, and Shawniak being bold here at A, already out towards Mini with that AWP. Gonna connect on a kill near Mini there, and it's gonna leave only George and CX remaining here for Triumph. Kind of stuck up in heaven behind that Molotov. Molotov is dissipated. Bomb has not been planted yet. GGPR going back outside lobby to pick that up now. Less than a minute on the clock. GGPR still with the 3-man advantage here, but they still need to be at least somewhat careful. Can't just completely rule out George and CX, especially when they're forced to go for the clutch here as it's the last round of the half. George making the peaks towards Squeaky with that AUG, but it's going to be CX landing the headshot onto JT, and Shawniak and Lowrider right there for the trades, though. And GGPR will indeed be slicing that lead to 3 rounds as we go into the second half. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a moment for half 2 of the first map.
Differently, whatever walking in the silence, and all the blood to my cheeks are rushing now, yeah, yeah. And I'm hoping you are getting closer. Well, can you tell me something, tell me something? Is it a wild shot of letting you know that you're the topic of all of my thoughts, yeah? And that I'm sick of this friend zone. Well, can you tell me something, tell me something? Well, can you tell me something, tell me something? Well, can you tell me something, tell me something? 'Cause I'm so sick of this friend zone.
Welcome back. We are officially live for the pistol round of half 2. This is indeed the first map of this regular season BO3 for ESEA Premier. Triumph getting aggressive outside here, already taking control of Garage and beyond. Triumph potentially going to take over Hell as well, and Shaniak able to down George at ramp there, but B-Will's on the trade, good for 2. Couple quick Glock headshots from B-Wills there. Exceed trying to do his part in ramp, able to connect on the headshot to Hate. Exceed will finish off B-Wills as well. JT backing him up in ramp right before that. Some nice chemistry from GGPR there as they grab themselves second half pistol round. They certainly needed that round to exhale it just a little bit. Whoa! CX with a little bit of a friendly fire knife in the back onto George there. George is going to be tagged near 60 HP. Triumph still trying to make their way outside, but no smoke grenade down, and Shaniak going to make them pay for that so far. Grabs 2. CX eventually able to get some redemption there with the Glock. Headshot onto, and Shaniak Lowrider holding down things with the Mag 7 though, finds 2 from Mini. The second was pretty long range for a Mag 7. RZU was all the way over in Big Garage. That was a at least a 30 to 40 foot Mag 7 shot there. And that'll bring GGPR to within a single round. The closest they've been since the beginning of the match. Triumph letting some time shaved off the clock here, but CX making his way down secret stairs already. Will connect on that initial headshot. Beaky down, but Beaky's well-placed Molotov will get him some post-mortem revenge there. Hate and B-Wills, on the other hand, taking control of the A side after moving through Hut. Lowrider was able to get that initial trade at Hut, but Triumph still going to be able to plant the bomb here. JT making his way up, Vent, and Shaniak going big from rafters comes out. Heaven with the P250 gets 2 quick headshots. That's going to put him in a 1v1 with George. The tension is high. The pressure certainly more so on Inshaniak here as he had low HP. And George gonna make him pay there for being out in the open. And that'll be a 10th round going to Triumph as they once again increase their lead to 2 rounds and put GGPR in another rough economic scenario. GGPR gonna go for some upgraded pistols here. And Shaniak gonna stay on the full save with the USP no armor. Exceed pushing outside with that deagle does tag CX down to half HP. Not quite able to finish him off. JT still holding down ramp from his default position, this time with a P250 though. He's also gonna get tagged down to around half HP, but RZU will eventually get traded, but it's going to be CX and Jorge overwhelming GGPR at ramp there. Wasn't a whole lot GGPR could do there in terms of holding ramp, even on the rotation with no rifles there. But the even rougher part about that round and this round for GGPR is they're not able to save anything from last round. And once again, they don't have enough for a rifle buy. So another round where GGPR is going to be limited in terms of weaponry. You're going to have 3 Desert Eagles, a P250 enhancement, Shaniak, Lowrider on the Mag 7 once more. Maybe Lowrider can make some action happen with that Mag again. He does. Nice headshot there onto RZU as he pushes all the way through lobby. And Shaniak getting aggressive as well, taking control of T-Root, but he's got George right on his feet there, looking down from T-side container. Both George and B-Wills finding an AK pick for themselves as GGPR gets aggressive. B-Wills still holding control of Garage with George there. Gets the pick onto Lowrider. CX taking control of Heaven. Easy pick for him onto JT. And that's going to leave only Beaky remaining here for GGPR. Desert Eagle in a dream. Surely going to have to save this D. Maybe going to try to get an AK for himself and save it. But even that would be a pretty tall task here considering how Triumph is set up. Beaky trying to get a late round kill there, but ultimately going to get finished off outside mini, and that'll be Triumph increasing their lead to 4 rounds. And this is going to be one of the last true rifle rounds where GGPR has a shot at slowing down this T-side momentum of Triumphs. Triumph looking to make their way into ramp room, and they do. That's going to force JT down into the lower side here. All 5 members of Triumph making their way down ramp. JT going to have to come up big here. He's backed up by Inshaniak and Yellow DD. JT with the nice angle, peeking on the right-hand side of lower boxes there. Finds CX and Shaniak with a nice peek from DD as well. It's going to be RZU down. But Triumph ultimately taking control of Hell and Heaven there. George watching the flanking, takes out Beaky. Hate already getting a second kill from up in Heaven, finds a third. That's JT down. One-on-one situation after Exceed rotates back out of Hut and finds B-Wills. Exceed versus Hate. Exceed at full HP. Hate tagged down to 45. Exceed just hopped off the fake defuse, but Hate has that information now. A second fake defuse. Hate's gonna peek this time, and Exceed will capitalize on that opportunity. Finishes off the 1v1 clutch with a defusal, and that'll be a 9th round going the way of GGPR. Counter-terrorists win. Jorge, El George, opening things up for Triumph there. Draws first blood at Ramp Room, although he did get tagged down to 10 HP after taking out JT there. Shaniak rotating over to Ramp, but Triumph already making their way back into lobby. Looks like Triumph does want to commit to the A site potentially. Contact being made here towards vending machines. Lowrider trying to push through Squeaky, hoping there was a distraction there, but B-Will is waiting for him. That's going to leave only Beaky remaining as he flies up vents on the rotation. B-Will is going to find the AK headshot. And once again, Triumph increasing this lead as we get later in the second half, up by 4 rounds now. GGPR going to have to save here, maybe even a full save with no upgraded pistols. Lowrider opting for that P250, but looks like 2 Deagles will be bought on the GGPR side as well. Exceed on the Deag Beaky as well. GGPR getting aggressive here at outside. Not able to find any early picks yet. It's going to be CX and George again drawing first blood. El Jorge with a third. A very nice headshot on the in there as he stayed prepared even after a Lowrider rotated out of Hell. CX will ultimately finish off in Shaniak in lobby there. GGPR looking to buy, although they're really not in the best economic scenario. Once again, only Beaky going to be able to get head armor, but they will be able to squeeze out 4 M4s and an AUG here. GGPR doing what they can to hold off Triumph from getting a 15th round here. Rizu already down through vents. Making his way towards control room. Has control of that now as well. Triumph making a late rotation towards outside here. Beaky with a nice peek from Secret Stairs, land the headshot onto B-Wills. He's going to fall back here. I think he may still have that info about Rizu. And it looks like he might have. Converts that into a headshot at Rizu down in Secret Halls. George with another nice peek into ramp there. CX doing his part as well from Mini. Nice little quick scope onto Exceed in the rafters above Hut. Lowrider at opposite fence. Gonna need to get at least one here. Make that two. Bomb down right by second Vents. And George with only 4 HP up against 3 members of GGPR. JT gonna finish him off there after flying up Vents behind him. And GGPR not throwing in the towel on this map yet. Slicing the lead to 4 rounds once again, but Triumph with quite a bit of cash to fall back on here. So clearly another full buy round from Triumph. GGPR not able to slow them down in terms of economy. Another Triumph member already making his way down Vents early. That's going to be Hate this time instead of Rizu. Shaniak. The initial kill on the ramp. Defense finds a second as well after getting tagged down to 16 HP. And Shaniak had to fall back towards the B side, but Hate able to finish him off their flank angle from Caution Door. JT in turn on another trade from behind Silo Rafter, but George there for the headshot just a couple seconds later. El Jorge and B-Wills remaining here. 2v3 situation as GGPR tries to retake after the bomb is planted here at the B site. Both members of Triumph tagged down to below half HP. B-Wills now down to 29, but was still able to find that headshot onto Beaky at ramp. Lowrider looking to make his way out of lower doors there, but Jorge waiting in the corner of rafters by default, finds the final 2 headshots of the round, and Triumph sitting at match point of 15-10 here on map 1. GGPR gonna have to do something impressive this round if they're gonna make a run for OT. Triumph looking for picks at Hut and ramp here, but it's going to be Exceed drawing first blood. Taking out Hate with that FAMAS after he peeks into lobby from Hut. Early one-man advantage here for GGPR, but the only rifles on the CT side here are that FAMAS in Exceed's hands and in Shaniak with that AWP. About to make contact there. It's Squeaky finds another headshot onto CX. Beaky backing him up, finding the kill onto Rizu after a couple of trades went out. But ultimately, it'll be JT finding the final kill of the round there. And GGPR hanging on despite Triumph being at match point and GGPR coming off an eco there. Well, I guess it was somewhat of a forced buy, but only had 2 rifles to work with. Hate already dropping onto Mini, dropping off of it. Now taking the inside of Mini after clearing Beaky. Lowrider gets the first defensive kill for GGPR, takes out George and Hut. Exceed backing him up as well, finds CX, but it's JT coming up big as he rotates out of heaven there, drops down, finds 2 with the AK-47, and GGPR finding themselves within 3 rounds of a potential overtime, and Triumph gonna be on a save here. So if there was ever a time for GGPR to really make a go for OT, here it is. CX with a sneaky angle here at Secret. No! Exceed did not hear the audio cue. CX gonna make him pay. Fatal knife blow to the back of Exceed there. Early one-man advantage for Triumph on their eco. Lowrider evening things out, does find some revenge onto CX a few seconds later there. But GGPR is taking quite a bit of damage here. Already one man down, and Shawniak tagged down to 38 HP. Lowrider tagged down to 22. Shawniak pushing through lobby with his teammates there. We'll find the pick onto Rizu. One-man advantage here for GGPR, but Hate able to even things out as JT getting taken out with that deagle at the B side. B-Will's gonna be able to plant the bomb behind Silo there, and GGPR gonna have to retake with 3 to take this to OT, and Shawniak still with that AWP in hand, but he's getting delayed at ramp here due to that Molotov. Beaky able to take out George here behind Silo, gets a second. B-Will's down, and Jorge and the crew not able to fend off that defuse, and that'll be GGPR grabbing a 13th round for themselves. Now within just 2 rounds here late in regulation. Triumph going to be able to buy up, though. Triumph looking to close out map 1 here. GGPR doing all they can to push for OT. Triumph on a bit of a conservative spread out here. Their normal default has actually been a bit more aggressive than this. Regardless, it looks like Triumph will be boldly making their way down to Secret now. Some nicely placed smokes from Triumph and allow them to do that. Looks like 4 members of Triumph already making their way down Secret Halls. Exceed about to make contact with them. Exceed lands the initial headshot. That's CX down. JT doing his part. Getting the defensive pick onto Rizu at lower there. JT again keeping an eye on control room. Is going to pay off. Lands the headshot onto B-Wills. But Jorge right there for the trade just a moment later. Jorge with a second. Looking for a third. Lowrider peeking out of vents, but not able to make visual contact quite yet. The ever-talented and mysterious Jorge here left in a 1v3. George making his way back towards outside. Those footsteps are going to be heard, though. Lowrider about to fly up vents! Jorge able to fend off that initial push from Lowrider, but Shawniak right there for the trade from Heaven, and GGPR within a single round of taking this to overtime after being down 1-9 in the first half. GGPR will call for timeout. The suspense is so high right now, I almost don't even want to say anything. I mean, even in a pug, a 14-15 is an intense scenario, let alone in a nice, crisp ESEA Premier matchup between 2 solid and talented teams here. And And GGPR, after all they've worked through in this comeback, will it pay off? Can they at least see overtime and have a second shot at this map? Or does Triumph have other plans here? Triumph trying to take inside. Rizu leading his team out. ESEA takes down Rizu. Hate right there for the trade with the little Geeky making his way out from heaven. Does take out Hate, but Jorge right there for the second trade. 3-on-3 situation. B-Will's going for the plant. Will get the C4 down. GGPR looking to retake. Still a 3-on-3 scenario. More smokes being thrown towards heaven. Followed by 2 flashes, but that's not going to stop Lowrider from flying out heaven to floor. Takes out Jorge, gets traded. But in Shadiak and JT, each doing their parts with the AWPs. Getting a pick each there late in the round. JT will defuse the bomb, and we are officially going to overtime. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
Calling their phone number. No, you know I love you. What's up, babe? And you know me, I can't sleep without blazing beats. On stage just for that one's gracefully. And I got a smile that they hate to see. Young, black, successful, though life gets stressful. Though life gets stressful, go and vibe out with whoever you next to.
Live until the morning, sleep until the noon.
Yeah.
You said that you want it, so I got it for
Got
you. Let's all get together and show them how we move. We move, we move.
3, 2,
Bringing summer
1,
to
drive.
you.
Oh, ready, let's go. 'Cause you know how we roll. Let's take it down the world and back again. Ready, let's go. 'Cause you know like I know. We'll take it round and round again.
Sitting on a bench, waiting for the time to pass, dreaming of what happens next. I see what I wanna be, questioning my destiny, only knowing what I see. I don't even realize I've already made a path, and I can change it anytime. I can't take it back. I know what I want, but it seems so damn far away. I know I sound crazy to the ones who said oh. I know I empowered those who dream like me.
Welcome back, everybody. We are officially underway for OT. What an exciting matchup so far. GGPR on the comeback. Let's see if they can make this fairy tale map 1 story come to a positive ending for themselves, or if Triumph wants some revenge here after they were out to such a strong early lead and lost it. JT coming up big there with that initial op kill. It's going to be Hate down. CX still with an AWP in hand for the T side here. CX trying to connect there through Squeaky, not finding anything yet. JT, another nice pick coming in from ramp room. CX down. 2-man advantage for GGPR. Rizu falling back to lobby. And Shaniak still on the top of Hut here with that AWP. Goes for the no-scope onto B-Wills, but not going to be able to connect. B-Wills, George, and Rizu trying to make their way through Squeaky, but Lowrider lining them up. Takes out George and B-Wills through that smoke grenade. JT gonna finish off Rizu with a headshot there at first vents. And GGPR gonna secure the first round of overtime. Lowrider getting aggressive here outside. Already pushed up red container with that M4. Triumph doesn't have that information yet. This could prove fatal for Triumph. It is so far. Rizu down. Lowrider looking for a second. Finds it. George down. Exceed backing up low at Outer. Finds CX. Hate ultimately getting some redemption onto Lowrider there a few seconds later, but it's still a two-man advantage for GGPR. Minute 17 on the clock. Hate still looking to get something going here outside. Tosses some utility down secret stairs. That's where Exceed was forced to fall back into. Exceed now making his way back up secret stairs. Might find himself in the crosshairs of Hate or B-Wills if he goes up too much further here. Looks like Exceed's going to be patient, waiting down towards the bottom of secret stairs there. Smokes used by Triumph here outside. It'll pay off so far, making their way towards Mini, picking in Shaniak all the way back by CT spawn rails. Hate and B-Wills now making their way into Mini, but Beaky stopping Hate in his tracks with that AK-47 headshot. It's only B-Wills remaining for Triumph. Tosses a flash into the A site, but he knows he's got a lot of angles to deal with here. Exceed and Beaky at opposite vents there, holding all of those inner angles. B-Wills on the quick switch. Exceed probably could have finished him off there, but wasn't quite able to. Beaky will get the job done though. B-Wills gonna get killed there in Mini late in the round, and that'll be GGPR increasing their lead to 2 rounds here in overtime. And what a matchup this has been so far.